All right, let's go ahead and delete a lot of this stuff out. And just to kind of sort of start over clean or from scratch. And let's just go up and we'll work out of our event. Let's see, where's our begin play? Did I delete that? I think I deleted that too. Let's undo that for a second. Here's our begin play. Let's get rid of the rest of this. So I'm just kind of cleaning this up. All right, what I'd like to look at is how we can essentially add, sort of do a little bit of math, how we can add strings together, things like that. So we have a string here, and it's currently let's see, compile, and it's a string variable text here, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just make this hello. And then let's make another string, and we'll just call this string world. I'm going to make it of type string. And let's compile and save that, and let's call this, we'll just put in the text world here. So let's go ahead and get both of these. We'll get this string variable, and then we'll get the world variable. All right, and then let's go ahead and add a print string here. Now, you might be wondering, you're like, well, we kind of already covered this. If I wire this into here, then I have to create a delay and copy a print string or whatever. But a lot of times when you're coding, you don't necessarily want to, just kind of daisy chain a bunch of strings together, right? There's going to be times when you might say, hello, what is your name? They enter their name, and then it adds it in there, and you have a separate variable that's going to store their name. So what you would do is you would append that string onto the end of the other one. So I just want to show you there is a function in here for that as well, for those who come from the programming world. So we do append and start typing string, and you'll see there's a string function called append. Then you could wire both of these into here. Let's try that one more time. Here's B, here's A, and then the return value into here. And then if we compile and save that, and then we look out here and we press play, you'll see hello world. And if you want to add a space, there's a couple ways of doing it, but you could always just go in here and then just add a space after the word hello, compile and save that, and then when you press play, you'll see there's a hello world space in there. All right, so let's take a look at how we can also add some other stuff. So here we have a variable called number here. Let's call one called health, and let's change number to pickup. All right, so let's bring these out. So let's see, we have a health here. I'll go ahead and get my health. And this should really be an integer, so let's change that. Making sure to compile and save that. So let's say I want to add, my health is currently 0. And let's close this out really quick. Let's compile and save that. And we have we want to add to our health a pickup. Well, inside of Unreal, there is different mathematical operators, right? So there is a operator, there's a function that's for adding, so we can add these two together. And then if we print this out to the screen, we should get 0 plus 50, which we should get 50. So let's go over here, let's press play, and we get hello, which is interesting. Let's see. Oh, here's our string. And let's break this for a second. There we go. I held Alt and I left click to break that. Actually, let's delete both of these and then we can just go right in. There we go. All right, so that should be our conversion. We'll press play, and that should give us 15. Let's say there's like a default value that you want inside of there. You can click this little plus sign, and then we can say 25 or something, or 20. And then we can compile and save that, and we can press play, and then when we hit that, we get 70, because 0 plus 50 plus 20 is 70. All right, and this might be a little redundant, but let's go ahead and create a variable called poison. And this poison variable takes off takes 60. It's pretty powerful poison. Let's drag this out, and I'm going to get the poison, and I'm going to subtract. So I'll just hit minus here, and I'll grab a subtract function. And so I'm going to actually feed in the 70, which is my current health, into the poison, and then I'll feed this into here. And so now we should get 70 minus 20 when we press play, which is 70 minus 60, sorry, which is 10. Forgot that my poison was 60. So those are just a couple of mathematical operators. All right, so let's also look at some conditional operators. So we have health here, which is 0, and we have a pickup health, which is 50. So I'm going to right click here, and I'm just going to put a greater than symbol. And you can see there's utility operators greater than. And this is more of a Boolean, like it's checking, and if we highlight over there, you can see return value Boolean. It's just going to return true or false based on if health is bigger than pickup. So you can see here we have health, which is 0, pickup is 50. So is 0 bigger than 50? I don't think so. So if we wire this into print the screen, and we have hello here, and we compile and save that, and I press play, you get nothing. And the reason for that is because this condition here, health is not bigger than pickup. But if I take my health here and I make it 200, and I compile and save that, and then I press play, you can see hello prints, because this print screen is checking whether this is true. And if it is true, it'll print hello to the screen. Now, I'm not going to braid the point by showing you them all hooked up, but they have a less than here. And then they also have a less than or equal to here. So is health less than or equal to pickup? If we were to wire these in here, we would get nothing because 200 is not less than or equal to 50. So if we compiled and save that, nothing happens. So there are different operators that we use to check. For example, like say your health is less than or equal to 0, then maybe you want to play an animation or do something where it restarts the level because your player no longer has any health. I think that's it for now. I think that's pretty good for conditional operators. And I think we can move on to branches and looping and all that good stuff next.